Thank you, everyone. I'm so touched by your warm words.
Like Dr. Rora said, I joined the institution in 1989 and it has been 33 plus years for me being here. It's a long innings, you know. But let me tell you how IIT happened to me, you know. Nobody knows. This is a tale that has never been spoken of. I came to Delhi as a young bride of 24 years from Chandigarh. And I had a working mother-in-law. So I had to stay at home and you know how the family would be with the mother-in-law working. So I decided that I could go to Lady Irwin. And I knew of IIT because one of my MSc colleagues was an IIT. And I just dropped an application saying, if there's an opportunity for me. Now, Mr. Malik is some of us know. So he said, Bharat go, Bharat. So I left my application. And after a few months, I realized that Lady Irwin never, Mrs. Beena Kapoor never really got that application. She said, "Mujhe to mili." However, from IIT, I got a letter, postal mail those days, saying there are interviews going to be held in college and you could appear for that. So I appeared. There were 27 candidates for a part-time post. And there was a murmur that an internal candidate is there and she's likely to be absorbed, you know, but they had to conduct the interviews. She was absorbed. I didn't get it. But as luck would have it, because my path at IIT was being charted, I got a call because she left, she got married, she left for her hometown. Can you join immediately? I said yes. They said, but there is no salary. I thought I should get home first. There's no salary. I said, okay, on the radio? They said, no, there is no honorarium. This was all on the phone. No honorarium also. You will be given a daily conveyance allowance. So 60 rupees for my auto ride from Safdarjung to Horse Khas, I received from Monday to Friday. A lot of people said don't do it. It's very demeaning for a teacher, you should give it up. But some said do it, Dr. Mallan will see your work, you're an outsider, you're from a different university, nobody knows you here. Kar lo. Maine kar liya. I'll join. In less than 2 years, a permanent post came up. Many of my friends waited 8 or 10 years before they could get permanent, and so many of you are already waiting for a permanent position. I was really lucky. I was 9 months pregnant. I appeared for the interview in September early, delivered my son on 30th September, and received a call sometime in October to join on 5th November with a 35-day-old child. I took no maternity leave. There was no choice of a maternity. It was a joining required. I requested for an extension. I was given 10 days of extension, and at 45 days, I joined. But the timetable committee was very kind to me, knowingly or unknowingly. I do not know who was heading timetable at that time. I was given a 9 o'clock class and then a 2:30 class. I'm not being sarcastic here. It was a blessing in disguise. I used to go home, feed my child, and come back for my afternoon class without feeling guilty. I did both the things. I thought it was blessing in disguise for me that there is a gap of 2.5 hours between my two classes. I'll go home. All it does is cost me money to go back. That's it. But I was really happy. You know, many years back I had heard this speech of Steve Jobs, which talks of connecting the dots in life. These dots don't really make sense when we look forward and in future.
Right.
But when we look back, you see how life was maneuvering you at every stage to get you to be where you are today. अगला डॉट कहाँ ज्वाइन करना है, ये BRS लेनी थी या नहीं लेनी थी, you don't know, but 10 years down the line, I will be able to see that it made sense, or that is what life had meant for me. So I'm a great believer now of connecting the dots. To go back to how I see these dots in my life, I was very young. My love affair with garment design and garmenting started very early in my life, at 8 years of age. I was very sick and admitted in a hospital, and a cousin of mine who was studying MSc Home Science in Chandigarh, clothing and textiles, brought me a beautiful hand embroidered frock which she had done and gave it to me in the hospital. I was so enamored. I thought, what a feeling to be able to make something for someone. It pepped me up so much. So enamored. I thought, what a feeling to be able to make something for someone. It pepped me up so much, and I so wanted to be like Didi of mine. Of course, in due course, I forgot all about it. I mean, an 8-year-old child doesn't remember that you want to be this. But school again, the craft class was my kind of favorite. Of course, it doesn't sound very academic in an academic setup, but craft class was my very favorite class. And difficult for me to believe today that at in class 5 and 6, I stitched a wraparound skirt, of course with the help of a teacher, and a top also, and I would wear it, like say कि मैंने बनाया है ये. So it continued like that, and there were small incidents when my grandmother would teach me something and I would probably make and wear it. Come 10th and 11th, at the end of 11th, I told my father, want to be a doctor. There were only 2 professions in the world, doctor and engineering, which था ही नहीं life में. And he said, no. I didn't keep very good health even as a youngster. So he said, अपनी सेहत देखी है, तुम नहीं कर सकती हो medicine. Instead, he took me to Home Science College and got me admitted. So life was really taking me towards what at 8 years I had wanted to be like my Didi, like what she did. So did Home Science, there was no looking back. I mean, I started doing better in my studies than I was in school, and I enjoyed the subject so much more. And then came a choice for an MSc, which was so natural for me to do clothing and textiles. I did my MSc at only 20 years of age when I completed my MSc. Now, obviously, जब MSc होगी तो शादी starts. So I said, no, I'm going to study for 1 more year. I'm going to hone my skills in clothing. I'll leave the textile part and I'll start getting into designing. So I did a diploma, a postgraduate diploma in dress designing. While I was still doing the diploma, I got a job in a Punjab government organization as a pattern maker on a salary of 1,000 rupees. And then 6 months down the line, there was a teaching opportunity in my college, and the principal called, Bela, usko chodo aur aa jao yahan. So I joined. It was a leave vacancy. Leave vacancy had to come to an end. It came to an end in few months. And in the principal's office, I'm like crying. Ma'am, I took a permanent job chura ke apne yahan bula liya. She says, Bela, this is not the end for you. So do what your heart wants to do. My dad was very supportive. He invested for me, and he opened up a boutique, and I called it Trendsetters in Chandigarh before I got married. Did very well for 1.5 years, but my destiny was calling me here. I got married in a year's time. My husband was a product manager at Singer Sewing Machine. What serendipity was that? So whether we were meant for one another or not, everyone said, "Arey, it makes a great couple. He's working for Singer, and you love sewing." Then of course IHE. As I told you how IHE happened after I just got married, and I was there. I got permanent in 2 years' time. But these seeds of retirement that we so talked of in Tejmeet and Anita and many others who have talked to me many times that we want to retire. This seed started somewhere around 16 years of my teaching career, because I wanted to do something creative. I wanted to go back to that kind of a boutique and do more creative stuff, which the two things together I would not be able to do justice to either. But when 20 years happened, I chickened out, I was enjoying teaching, and just then the retirement age became 62, and then it became 69. I said, like life is really comfortable. I would continue teaching, and I thoroughly enjoyed my stint as a teacher. I loved my students. I loved doing what I was doing. I mean, even if sometimes the students weren't too responsive, I really loved my job as a teacher. Come COVID, and the multidisciplinarity of our jobs, I started really feeling stressed, very anxious all the time, constant pacing heart, I'm not doing my job well, I'm not delivering well, I can't do it, you get cold feet, I'm not able to do it. And so after much thought, lot of deliberations, financial, academic pursuits, not being with academia any longer, all those things bothered me, but I was able to cross those hurdles slowly and then take a decision for my retirement. The seeds of retirement were germinating at that time in Delhi. When teaching at IIT, of course, I learned every moment. I'm a great learner. Like right now also I want to learn. While at IIT, every student, a student made a mistake, it was a learning for me. I would learn more from there. But I can't not mention some of my colleagues from whom I've specially learned a lot. Mrs. Chaudhary was one. I used to attend her classes to learn a subject which nobody else knew in the college. And she taught me the nuances. She was a great mentor for me. Then many of you would not know these names, but I owe my gratitude to them, and therefore I will name them. Dhan Khambata at Lady Irwin, and Veena Gupta, Dr. Veena Gupta at Lady Irwin. Just by being a co-examiner, I was learning. They taught me perfection just by sitting with me and evaluating my students' work was a great learning for me. In these 36 years at IIT, because I don't call myself joining in 1989, I call myself joining in 87. I missed one point. I joined on a leave vacancy of Dr. Chitra Arora, and it was her maternity. I do miss her. In these 36 years, I've collected a treasure of friends and beautiful memories, and each one of you know that how close you are in my heart, and how genuinely I love you all. I'm going to miss you. I see the young faces every time, and I feel ये सब मेरे अपने हैं. I will miss my department. There is no doubt. I will miss my colleagues in the department. I will miss my colleagues outside my department. I will miss the lab staff who've been so good to me. They were like this. Without their support, nothing really happens, but it was not that they were just doing their duty, they were doing it out of so much love with me. I will miss my students, no doubt. That is my purpose of being here. The jigsaw timetables, as everyone has pointed, it used to be such a grey matter tickler, and I'm definitely going to miss it. The endless chatting in the foyer, in the corridors, all that I'm going to miss. Needless to say, I will miss chatting up with anybody who crossed me in the lift and in the... I've not seen any, I can't complain कि किसी ने मेरी तरफ देखा नहीं और मुंह उधर कर लिया. I have never experienced that feeling, and God has been really kind to me on that. And most of all, the best cubicle in the college, 215. and the caring and sharing that was in that room. It was beautiful. I think we have poured our hearts out in that room. Sometimes cried, sometimes laughed, sometimes shared food. It was life. It was a home away from home. And many of you mentioned my Strolli. Well, the Strolli, yes, was to take the load off my shoulder, but I used to sometimes say जिस दिन लड़के आऊँगी घर ना इसी में सामान डाल के लगा के यही सोचा था. So yes, I'm going to miss all that. So what now? Everybody is asking क्या करोगी? Even the governing body chairperson asked me कोई और plan है, कहीं join कर रही हो, कोई bound है date? I said no sir. There is no plan. Sometimes no plan is a great plan. But generally people don't believe how. So friend says you are always doing something. I'm sure you will do something. So I don't know what I will do. Really, I don't know. But maybe an inward journey is due. A road less traveled. थोड़ा आध्यात्मिक कर्मा भी बाकी है. थोड़ा सीखना भी बाकी है. मतलब थोड़ा नहीं, मेरे लगता बहुत कुछ सीखना बाकी है. और मुझे वो सब चीज़ें सीखनी है. मुझे लैंग्वेजेस सीखनी है, मुझे संस्कृति पढ़नी है, मुझे लिटरेचर पढ़ना है. मैंने all the things that I've missed and I want to study all that. I want to take Gita lessons, I want to learn Urdu, I want to learn Sanskrit. मतलब ये सब मुझे अंदर से हो रहा है. Like I want to do it. I want to do something for myself, like my own health. Everybody knows I've had health issues, and so I want to do something for that too. I want to do something for my own people I call my own, and I want to do something for the community. So that's what my plan is in the coming future, while I still have the energy to do something for somebody else. I thank each one of you. Each one of you has spoken so beautifully. I have no words to thank you, and it's touched me, and it's not an expressible feeling when I go out of here to say कि सबने क्या कहा, मेरे घर वाले पूछेंगे सबने क्या कहा, और मैं ये भी नहीं बोल पाऊंगी कि सबने क्या कहा. It was so beautiful for me to hear that, and I feel so connected with all of you, really feel connected with all of you. So thank you for being part of my life at IHG and really being part of my heart and soul. You, each one of you made a dent in my heart and soul, and a beautiful dent in which I will keep you. I will keep you secure there. Remember, I'm just a phone call away. I'd love to have a cozy lunch with each one of you, in groups, in individuals, as individuals. Call me when you like. Thank you, everyone.
So Ashima had requested me to sing a song, but instead I'm going to recite a nazm that resonates very
well with me for two reasons. That the VRS took very long. और सबको समझाया गया कि VRS अब उतनी आसान नहीं है, ऐसे ही मिल जाती है. And everyone tells me that university is very stingy about it. So this is दिल लगाने की तो वो खूब सजा देते हैं. तो मैंने इसको ट्वीट कर दिया थोड़ा सा. VRS लेने की तो वो खूब सजा देते हैं. गम जुदा, रंज जुदा. Dr. Rora not targeted at you at all. It's the system. It's the system which created that anxiety in me, not targeted at anybody. So दिल लगाने की तो वो खूब सजा देते हैं. गम जुदा, रंज जुदा और दर्द जुदा देते हैं. And then I was asked कि reason बताओ, जबकि VRS का कोई reason नहीं होता है जो rule book में. But the governing body insisted that I write a reason, and I wrote a whole lot of reasons. because कोई एक reason नहीं था कि मैं fed up हो गई, मैं छोड़ रही. It wasn't like that. So I wrote a whole lot of reasons, but about those reasons, a lot of people in college got to know कि मेरा ने चिट्ठी में क्या लिखा है. Vinu, thank you for appreciating my, thank you for appreciating and making me feel that it wasn't bad to say that you want to look after, but lots of times you got to hear कि ये कोई लिखता है ऐसे retirement letter. These are not things you write and things like that. So the next दो लाइनें उसके लिए. ए नमावर उन्हें, नमावर कहते हैं पोस्टमैन, डाकिया को. ए नमावर उन्हें मेरा हाल जुबानी कहना. ए नमावर उन्हें मेरा हाल जुबानी कहना, खत न देना उन्हें, गैरों को पढ़ा देते हैं। I sing it. I try and sing it. Please don't laugh. ए नमावर उन्हें मेरा हाल जुबानी कहना, खत न देना उन्हें, खत न देना उन्हें, गैरों को पढ़ा देते हैं। We are wrestling